Hey guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to sculpt a toon dragon, or not the entire dragon, just the bust of the character, okay? So to get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a sphere, and I'm going to turn the sphere into Dynamesh 128, and then just grab my move brush and start kind of sculpting the base mesh for the character, right? So using the move and inflate, you can see me grabbing the inflate brush here and just kind of inflating the cheeks and the top of his head. What I'm continuously doing is I'm inflating and then I'm doing control and drag to re-dynamesh the base mesh, right? It's just one solid mesh, so you can see me just kind of getting just using those two brushes initially, just building the entire kind of base mesh. You know, it's actually pretty mind-blowing that you can use just a couple brushes, and you know, you could see clearly there's hundreds of brushes in ZBrush. But it's pretty fascinating that you can just use a couple basic ones like the standard and the move brush and get really far as sculpting goes. Here I'm playing around with trying the Sculptures Pro in addition to using, I tried the Form Soft. I was trying to figure out if I like Form Soft versus Inflate, and by far Inflate I think is my favorite, but here again you can see that Sculptures Pro is on, so it's actually re-dynameshing the mesh as I'm building more and more volume. And to extend the body, I just simply grabbed the move brush and just dragged the volume down of the shape, and then just did re-dynamesh instead of inserting new shapes or anything like that. It's a really cool workflow to continuously push out or pull out pieces that you need, and then as they lose the resolution, as you're pulling and pushing on them, you can just re-dynamesh and kind of keep going, right? It's an infinite workflow. All right, here you see me doing a few touch-ups and just adjusting the volume as I spin the mesh around. My goal was just to have fun and do like a little exercise, but at the same time keep the shapes super friendly, toony, and definitely exaggerated. For the mouth, I grabbed the Damien standard to create the kind of the top part of the mouth, and then to add the lip, I decided to simply extract additional geometry straight from the bottom of the jaw. So here you see me just kind of cleaning up my masking and just trying to figure out what feels good as far as the bottom part of the mouth would be. Once I extracted the mesh, I just went into geometry to Z-remesh it and reduce the resolution, and then just simply inflate it. I wanted to make it a little bit larger, so I inflated it, I then subdivided it, and then I turned it into Dynamesh, and which automatically gets rid of the subdivision levels, but then you have this nice clean Dynamesh. Alright, once I infused the two pieces together and kind of blurred them together, then I just used the Damien standard to create more definition for the mouth that was, that carries across from the mouth part to the all the way to the top. It's really amazing in ZBrush how you can jump between dynameshing a mesh, then jumping out of it and just moving it around, then re-dynameshing it, then using Sculptors Pro, and then turning it off, going back to Dynamesh, subdividing it, and it's like a dance, right? You jump between shapes and topology, and once you figure out what each one does, it's pretty incredibly unlimiting. There's really nothing you can do, and it just takes a little practice, right? So initially I would imagine when you're jumping into ZBrush, it could probably get pretty confusing to see all these different modes, and every artist sculpts in different ways. So, but once you start experimenting with a few sculpts, you could quickly kind of decide what your workflow is, and then just kind of make it better and better. So right here I'm still at you can see Dynamesh 256, and now I'm going to change it to 512, and the reason I'm changing it, I'm doubling up the resolution, is because I want to start adding a little more detail, maybe start doing more folds and wrinkles, that kind of stuff. Whenever I work on the shape, even doesn't really matter what part I'm doing, I'm always keeping an eye on kind of the large flow, and as you're rotating the shapes, it's always a great idea to do a little tiny touch-ups, because you might never see that that shape from that specific angle again. So whenever you're flipping it around and you see something, I strongly suggest touching it up right away, because I think it's a good practice to continuously make your shape better and better as you see it. Here I'm just playing around with a few different options for the eyes. I wanted to see what might work, so I just grabbed that alpha, that kind of a double circle one, and then I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do add or sub to create kind of a stylized pupils. So I ended up just doing a subtract and then just kind of flattening. You can see dynamic, using dynamic trim dynamic to kind of flatten it out. And I'm actually gonna return to the eyeball and do a little more kind of push the pupils in, kind of like you see in the ancient traditional sculpting. Usually if you want to have the character have a little more intensity to them, right? You want to push that pupil in, so there's a little more kind of lights and shadows, right, that hit the eye, and it creates kind of an illusion. So normally if you watch any traditional sculpting, you'll see most sculptors will create that hole in the pupil, right? Even the classic ones like Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci or Bernini, right? You see them all kind of doing similar eyes by pressing the pupils in. Here you see me just grabbing my fold brush that I pretty much use in every single video. And if anyone needs a link and you can't find it, let me know. I can provide the link to it, but I pretty much give it in most of my videos, the same link to the same folding brush that I like to use on clothes and skin. I think it's really really simple, and just I love how it feels when I use it. And I'm just trying to see, I'm trying to add more folds closer to the base of his head, right? So the nose, I was assuming, going to create folds and scrunches as he's smiling, or as his big kind of, mouth is meeting the face. Here you also see me using the pinch, right? The pinch is a great way to clean up and add a little more edginess to some of your round shapes, right? Especially cartoon shapes. It's a brilliant way to quickly turn anything that is kind of boring into this crisp, stylized look, right? If you carefully choose which parts of the shape you want to pinch. Here you see me just adding a couple of teeth in front, and when I first grabbed the standard cone, right, it always comes really, really sharp, and I wanted the teeth to be a little bit softer, not so sharp, so I just ended up re-dynameshing them with the really low 128 resolution, and then inflating them, and then smoothing them. So that kind of gave me the kind of a softer, less sharp cone. And then you see me just inflating around the teeth to make it feel like they belong, in that part of the head. As I added the pinching to the nose, I realized I wasn't happy with it, so I ended up going back and inflating the nostrils a little more. I wanted them to feel a little more kind of bubbly. As kind of the last piece of detail, I wanted to add some spikes to the back of his kind of neck and the head, as you see in the kind of a classic dragon, right? So I did the same thing. I just re-dynameshed it at a really low resolution to mess up that, that sharp tip, and then I inflated it and then re-dynameshed and smoothed it out. And then again, the result is you get kind of a really soft, cartoony looking cone. And then just holding down the control key and dragging, you can create as many copies as you want in the same layer, and it's really a cool way to quickly create clones. And then finally here you see me picking the Alpha 36, which is kind of a sharp alpha, and just doing a subtract to push it in. And then if you press 1 on the keyboard, it will intensify your last stroke. So I just did that a few times. And again, you end up with, oh, and then I also did clay polish to kind of make it a little more dramatic. But you see the result, right? The eyes look a lot better. I feel like it's a little more, a lot more interesting. But again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learn a few new tricks, and I'll see you guys in the next video.